I never thought I'd be the kind of man who'd walk into his own home and find the unthinkable. For years, I trusted my wife, Emily, with every fiber of my being. We had built what I thought was a solid marriage. 10 years, 2 kids, a mortgage, the usual ups and downs. I wasn't a perfect husband, but I showed up. I worked hard, I supported her dreams, and I believed we were in this together. But looking back, the signs were there. The late-night girls' outings that seemed to stretch longer each time. The sudden secrecy with her phone, face lighting up at messages she'd quickly swipe away. The excuses, workouts, errands. I just need some space. I wanted to believe her, so I did. Blind faith is dangerous, and I was walking straight into a storm I didn't even know was brewing. That night started like any other. I had finished a long day at work, grabbed takeout on the way home, and planned to surprise Emily. Normally, I'd text her first, but I thought it'd be a nice change. Show up with her favorite food and spend the evening together. The kids were away at her mother's for the weekend, so I figured it would be just us, maybe even a rare chance to reconnect. The moment I opened the door, though, something felt wrong. The living room was dark, but I could hear faint laughter coming from upstairs. Laughter that didn't belong to just Emily. My chest tightened. I told myself I was imagining things. Maybe she had the TV on, maybe she was on a call with a friend. But then I heard it. A man's voice. Low. Too close. I froze at the bottom of the staircase, every muscle in my body tensed. The sound of footsteps, whispers, then a stifled laugh. My heart pounded so hard it drowned out everything else. I climbed each step slowly, silently, as if I were sneaking up on an intruder in my own house. In a way, I was. When I reached the bedroom door, it was half open. The dim light spilling out told me everything I needed to know before I even looked inside. But still, I pushed it open, and there it was, my wife tangled up with another man in the bed we once shared as sacred. Time seemed to freeze. They didn't notice me at first, too lost in their betrayal. My world cracked open, and for a split second, I couldn't even breathe. Then Emily's eyes met mine. She went pale, her mouth opening but no words coming out. The man scrambled, trying to pull the sheet over himself like that could undo what I had just seen. I didn't shout, I didn't throw the takeout, I didn't even raise my voice. I just stood there, silent, the weight of betrayal pressing down like a boulder. And in that silence, they realized, this wasn't going to end the way they expected. I didn't shout. I didn't curse. I didn't demand explanations or excuses. Instead, I set the takeout bag on the dresser, the rustle of the paper sounding louder than any scream I could have made. Emily's lips trembled as she tried to piece together words, but nothing came. Her lover, some man I'd never seen before, sat there frozen, half covered in shame and panic. I finally spoke, my voice calm, steady, almost cold. Don't stop on my account. Clearly, I wasn't invited. The weight of those words crashed over the room. Emily shook her head furiously, scrambling to sit up, clutching the sheets as if modesty mattered anymore. James, please, it's not what it looks like. I laughed, a hollow, humorless sound. Emily, spare me. I'm looking right at it. The man finally found his voice. Listen, man, I didn't. I cut him off without even looking at him. You don't speak to me. Not in my house. Not in my wife's bed. The authority in my tone silenced him instantly. He lowered his eyes, shame burning his face. I walked over to the closet, pulled out a suitcase, and dropped it on the floor with a heavy thud. Emily flinched as the sound echoed in the room. You've got 10 minutes. Pack his things and send him out. After that, I don't care what you do, but he's not staying under this roof a second longer. She blinked at me, stunned. James, please, can we talk about this? Please just listen to me. I turned to her, and for the first time, she saw it. Not rage. Not heartbreak. Just finality. The calm before the storm that had already passed. Talk. You had plenty of time to talk when you were sneaking around behind my back. Whatever words you think you can say now are just noise. Her hands shook as she clutched the blanket tighter, tears welling in her eyes. But I didn't waver. I stepped back toward the door, my hand resting on the frame. And let me make something very clear. This isn't going to be hidden. You don't get to paint yourself as the victim when the truth comes out. I'm done covering for you. The man started fumbling for his clothes, tripping over himself in his rush. Emily grabbed his arm as if that would stop him, but the shame in his eyes was too much. He wanted out and fast. The irony burned. I had walked in on the two of them, and now even he wanted nothing to do with her. I didn't wait to see what happened next. I turned and walked out of the room, my footsteps deliberate, echoing down the stairs. For the first time in years, I felt in control. Not broken. Not desperate. Just free. In that silence, in my refusal to scream or beg, I had said more than any angry outburst ever could. And judging by the stunned look on their faces, they knew it too. The rest of that night played out like a blur, but every detail seared itself into my memory. I went downstairs, poured myself a glass of water, and sat in silence while footsteps scurried above me. The sound of drawers opening, clothes being stuffed into a bag, and hurried whispers filled the air. A half-hour later, the front door creaked open and then slammed shut. Her lover was gone. Emily came down a few minutes after, her eyes red, her hair a mess, her voice trembling. "James, please, can we just sit and talk? I know I messed up, but I love you. It was a mistake, it didn't mean anything." I raised my hand, cutting her off. "Emily, stop. If it didn't mean anything, you wouldn't have risked everything for it. You wouldn't have lied to my face for God knows how long. And you wouldn't have looked at him the way you used to look at me." She broke into sobs, falling to her knees in front of me, clutching at my hands. "Please don't do this. Don't throw away 17 years over one mistake." Her words hit like knives, but not in the way she expected. Throw away 17 years? No, she had already done that the moment she let another man into our bed. I leaned forward, pulling my hands away, and spoke in a voice sharper than steel. "You ended our marriage the moment you betrayed me. I'm not throwing anything away, you already did." For once she had no reply. The following days were chaos, but I stayed composed. I spoke with my lawyer, filed for divorce, and immediately requested full custody of our 2 kids. I wasn't about to let them grow up in a home poisoned by her lies. The evidence was undeniable. And when the truth came out, even her family couldn't defend her. When friends and relatives asked what had happened, Emily tried to play the victim. She told them I was being cold, that I had abandoned her without listening. But I didn't need to argue. People had seen enough. The whispers spread quickly, about how I had caught her red-handed, about the man who bolted from our house in the middle of the night, about the betrayal she couldn't hide. The day we stood in court, she looked at me with desperate, tearful eyes, as if begging for one last chance. But I didn't flinch. I walked out with everything that mattered, my kids, my home, and most importantly my dignity. She was left with nothing but regret and the whispers of a community that had once respected her. What happened that night didn't break me. It freed me. It reminded me that silence can be louder than any scream, that walking away with dignity can be more powerful than revenge. And judging by the emptiness in her eyes when the judge declared my custody granted, Emily finally understood. The one thing she could never take from me was the strength I found in letting her go.